Need some energy, deep breath. I need to hear the volume. I need everybody to wake up a little bit. It's been a long tech week, but as you guys know, community's been a huge buzzword, as we've all heard from, Anthropic wanting to hire a head of community or a head of events for a couple $100,000 a year. And people are like, oh my God, this is crazy. All these meta company or AI companies like Meta are talking about, taste is the new skill, creativity is the new craze, and the beauty of being able to work with a company like Run is that you guys are able to automate what you guys are doing for your businesses and not having to focus on the things that you don't need to being able to actually focusing on building a community. Now, you might be wondering, what is this guy with the crazy suit doing up here talking about a community? Well, I have been running a community for the past 2 years called Anwar Events, and that's a combination of founders, investors, and creators that are all trying to build a community. Now, the reason why I'm here today is because Julie in the back right there, who has an even crazier outfit than me, but still a great outfit, is somebody who's a part of my community, right? And a lot of people talk about community, but when they're talking about community, they only think about what's benefiting them, right? They think, oh, what are you doing for me? When are you coming to my events? How are you going to be a sign-up so I can get a sponsor, right? But the way to show up with it, and it's true, you should be surprised. And so the reason why I'm here today is because they say, when building a community, or when you want to build a friendship or anything that you want, people are like, how can I have more good friends? I don't have good friends in my life. Well, are you a good friend? And so, in order for me to be able to have good members in my community, am I showing up here when Julie needs me? And this is why I'm here today. And so I wanted to be able to see some of the people in the crowd that I've already seen who are part of the community as well, and discuss why building a community is so important, especially when you're using a tool like Run. And the reason why is because as you're building an AI company, you have to focus on what's real. You have to focus on the physical aspect of being able to sell to people and to be able to show up when an AI agent can, right? I'll let Run everything else for me, but it can't go on my behalf and go to events and speak with people and build a real connection, right? So a lot of people think that, oh my God, AI is going to take over everything. Claude's going to kill my company. I'm going to have no job. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I think there's a future where you are able to use it as a tool, and we're also going to be able to do what we need to do. And that's the biggest focal point that I wanted to focus on. And so for myself, how do I community build? I throw events, I post about opportunities, I try and connect people, I make group chats, and the focus is always to give other people value first, right? And so if you are using Run and you are building a business, then if you have so much free time, you should be focusing on that one thing, which is the community. I keep saying it over and over and over again, because I want to reiterate that for the people who want to understand truly what that means. I'm sure, like I said in the very beginning, you guys have heard the word a lot, right? You're nodding your heads. What do you guys usually hear about community building, or throwing events, or creativity, or IRL in general? I'm going to call you guys out if nobody says anything. So somebody speak up. Engagement. Okay. Anybody else? I'm looking at you, Nicholas. You got to throw one out there.
Like, when talking about like building communities, it's a lot of people just talk about like logistics, like location, like how can we reach the most people. But like a lot of it is just like slowly bringing people that you know, your friends, and then just reaching out to people that you don't. That's like the main thing. Just meeting people that you would have never met if you didn't enter that room.
Yeah, I love it, and I think a key point to touch on too is that like money can't buy community, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Claude can just, and I love Claude, and I love Run, but it's not just the fact that they're throwing money for these events that are building community. It's the fact that he's here right now. He's a very successful entrepreneur. Everybody here has the ability to go and talk to him right after this, after I'm done speaking or after we're building. That's the difference, right? He could go be in a high rise in New York City right now, overlooking everything, and choosing not to come to this event. But he's choosing to be here, sitting down with everybody, and choosing to be intentional, and choosing to do something that AI cannot replace. And one thing about building a community as well, and for Run, for example, it might be somebody who is very efficient, somebody who's very tech savvy, and somebody who's very focused on building a lot, right? Like a builder. That's how you would uniquely identify somebody in your community. Well, in my community, right, we focus on community builders. And so those are people that are tech enabled, but they also happen to be a bit more creative as well. And the people that come to our events, their identity is also very fast, right? right? And a great way to embody community building is, like I said, what type of community builder are you? I'm throwing 16 events this week. I am insane. We are moving fast. I am tired. But that is what I am showing my community, that we're working very hard, we're consistent, and we're showing up. And so, for example, with yourself, I assume that even outside of your business, you're probably running side businesses with Mule Run, just automating everything with the AI agents, am I correct? Because that's the type of individual that you are. You're a builder architect. I haven't defined who my architect is, but he has a more concrete identity. For me, I would say it's a community builder, but with a little bit more of, I guess, just a lot of workhorse. So just consistently showing up. And that's one of the biggest things as well that a lot of people ask is like, hey, what tools do you use? Well, I mean, clearly we're at a Mule Run event right now. If you're not using Mule Run, you should be using Mule Run. What tools do you need to build a community? For me, I'm a very simple person. I don't want to use a lot. I just like to stick with 4 to 5 things and keep it going. And so for me, I would use Mule Run if I were you guys. I use Luma as a platform to promote the event. Obviously, Tech Week is all in party for right now. But a majority of the times I use Luma. I use Tally as well. So Tally is basically like an application management software tool. So you can put out, hey, I'm looking for event hosts to come and help me throw events this week, and then they can go and apply on there. And then the last one we use as well is Fireflies. As you guys can imagine, we're constantly in meetings, constantly running around. I have a bunch of tabs open in my head, and so when I have Fireflies, at least I have one consistent source of truth. And these are the tools that I use, and so hopefully that gives people a bit more clarity about the type of tools that they can use for community building. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because once you build your business and once you build your product on your run, you have to go out there and actually get the product in front of people. And this is how you build a community. And before we wrap it up, I wanted to open up the room to be able to ask me questions and make it a bit more interactive, rather than me just be in here and boring you all. So I will give you advice, or I will help you with your community building aspirations. And then after, we'll go into building so you can focus on automating your business. And then eventually get to the point where you can community build. So if you guys want to raise your hands, I'd love to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, I got a question. I'm just gonna open the discussion a little bit because I went to quite a few events this week, and this was my first tech week. My name is Kareem. I'm in performing arts. I've been around Hell's Kitchen a lot. So when this year, Vanderbilt, which is one of my undergrads, just got a campus here in New York, and I was at a couple events with them and had a discussion, music related, which is always big on creating a safe space, because I think creatively you do have to have a safe space to be a little weird and be a little different. And I was coming to a lot of these events and kind of seeing that need, like you were discussing, like you were saying, that like even the tech industry and many other industries, they're seeking community and they are seeking relationships, but they struggle with a little bit of this make it safe. And I wonder, I'm already writing down all the apps that you were saying, because like the transcript one is big for me because I lose track of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, like, when you think about like AI or the tech industry in New York in the future, if like what other steps of making a space safe is something that you see necessary for tech. Like I can sort of see it on like music in the background for certain things, definitely have snacks and stuff available, have like networking, icebreakers, X, Y, and Z. But I'm like wondering for you, through your experience, because I've loved coming to your events, I'm like wondering what about your experience makes you think these are the things that I see the tech industry in New York missing when it comes to being comfortable.
Yeah, that's a great question. You're asking what do I think is missing in order to make people feel more safe? Because when you go to a networking event, sometimes it feels so stiff. You're looking around, you're like, I don't know who to connect with. This person might not like me. They might not like my company. I don't want to ask them for money. And I think just always leading with giving value first is a big one. And that even boils down to the community builders, right? Like I've been to so many events myself where the community builder themselves almost holds them events in New York City for founders, investors, creators, you're not Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a community builder and you're here to help people, and that is what your role is. And a lot of people, I think, especially when they're doing events, they think they're almost like above the community. You have to be with the people. Like when you see somebody coming into a room, your goal should be to immediately connect them with somebody. The first question I ask people, and this might be something that's controversial because it is not transactional in my way, but transactional for the people that are coming into the events. When they come into the room, and even when I met you, the first thing I asked you was, what do you need from me? Just selflessly give, because then your guard is lowered when you see that I'm helping you. Now, why am I helping you? Because I believe that anybody that walks into a room, regardless of wherever they're at in their career, let's say you started your tech company today, right? You could be bigger than everybody here. Maybe you're going to be throwing your own events all over, and so a lot of people underestimate that with community building. They're just like, okay, the CEO of Higgsfield is coming in, I'm just going to focus on him and nobody else. So I think the best way to make people feel safe is don't take yourself so seriously, be vulnerable, be comfortable, talk about reality, not everything is perfect, and then secondly, just selflessly giving to people, right? And then showing up, like what he's doing here himself right now, like knowing that the person behind the product is here today is making me more comfortable to use the product because now it's been humanized, right? Brands want to be like people. And then it's funny because people want to be like brands now. But the people should just be people. And the brands should also humanize themselves as well. Does that make sense? Good. Any other questions? Sure.
What's your opinion on when you're throwing an event, trying to target a very specific group that would, I don't know, have common goals and benefit from being together versus casting it wider, because sometimes some magic can happen when there's for people, or it could also dilute the purpose. How do you target?
That was a problem that I had when I was throwing events. In the past 2 years since I moved to New York, I've thrown around 200 events, and in the beginning, a lot of them were just really big events, and it was at bars and speakeasies, and the room would be packed out, and people would constantly complain. They were like, okay, there's all these people, but I'm not matching with the right people. It needs to be more intentional. And I do still think there is merit in throwing big events. Sometimes people just want to feel a part of something, or sometimes they just want to get, I gotta be PG friendly. They just want to have a good Friday night, They want to drink. They want to be around people. They want to be around people that have similar interests to them. I personally, and I'm so glad there's no name tags in here, I hate name tags. I hate forced networking. I think everything should just be organic. The best connections you make are when you accidentally bump into somebody on the street in New York City, and they're like, oh, you do this, I do this, and now we're friends. I've never really seen it work out well when you try and throw two people inside of a box, and you're like, hey, you guys should work together. But to answer your question more specifically, one thing that's helped me is by collaborating with other people. So when we do throw a lot of events, right? When you hear that I've thrown 16 events this week, you might think, there's no quality in that. Well, the reason why is because I'm not on top of all the quality control. I'm assisting, for example, with Julie today. I just came here and I invited a couple people that are part of the event, and I'm speaking today. And that's one of the events that we're doing. But then on Monday, we do an investor dinner, and then we did a social mixer right before that. So I think the way to really focus in on that is that you have a clear intention, a clear goal, and a clear identity for the people that are attending the events. And then, having a approval process for when people are coming in. If you're just making it open to everybody, then there is no intention, right? So I would say it's having an approval process, making sure there's a clear intention, and then working with the right partners that can make sure they can help you bring in the right people into the room if you can't do that yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would you say that an event's more successful if it's small or half the people that you would like, but if they're all that target, they all have that same intention, or would you prefer it larger with maybe with some random people?
What I personally like and I enjoy the most is the bigger ones. I love bigger events. But what do I think actually works better is a room like this, right? Something that's more curated, something that's more intentional, where people can interact more. But I think if you're selling a product or you're building a business, the room should always be smaller.
What's going on? My name is Barron. I'm from a different ecosystem. I'm from Philly, where we just had our tech meeting 2-3 weeks ago. But hearing you throw so many events, I just know how it's a different vibe in Philly. But I know what the problem out there is, so how do you, with throwing so many events, find the balance between, like Kareem said, making a comfortable space, but also making sure that it's not just a party as opposed to true networking, or because you throw so many events, you purposely hard separate the two? Like, I'm just interested because hearing you throw so many events, I'm like, I know out in Philly, sometimes those networking events are really happy hour parties that you never, if you're trying to intentionally network, but the event is not set up for that type of networking, if I'm making sense.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I've been trying to stay away from like self-promoting a product we're working on, but if you want me to give you the legitimate answer, this has been a problem for a long time, which is why I partnered with a company called Align.network, right? And so the idea behind it is that when you walk into a room, and even if it is super busy, then the idea behind it is that, let's say, what did you say that you do? You're a community builder yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say that you're a community builder, right?
Yeah.
In one sentence, what are you looking for? Like if there was a magic wand to give you exactly what you're looking for in this room, what are you looking for?
To build, to keep building community, I don't, like you, I'm more of a giver, so when I walk into a room, I'm genuinely just interested in who's in the room, not so much of what you can do for me or what I can do for you, but like, what's your story?
Well, then what type of people are you trying to connect with then?
Me personally? Like-minded individuals, man. I've been in isolation mode, trying to find, as I transition in my career, trying to find like-minded people who are also, pushing and dreaming big, and to be in those rooms. As you come into these rooms, you bump against people, and my close friend and mentor is right up there in the front corner. But that's how we bumped into each other at a big event. And when I approached her, I was like, look, I'm just hungry, man. Like, I just want information. And through that, a year later, that's one of the biggest people in my life. So, but again, out in Philly, when we go to these events, everybody, they're like, yeah, we got drinks, but like, what if I want to meet another party? It's not facilitated for that. But like Kareem said, also providing that comfortability in that event to like, if you do want to drink, to like break the ice. So like, what's that balance of?
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody has it perfect. If they did, everybody would be going to their events, right? And give me a year, I promise you we'll have everybody. And Julie will be doing it with us as well, and everybody else here. But the way that we're actively solving that right now, and from what we've seen in our own personal experiences, I mean, you can ask our team here that's at the table. I will go up to every single person, and I will personally connect them with people, and I will ask them what they need. And I might miss one or two people, right? And so that's why we're hiring more people. And the role that we're coming up with is like conversationalists, right? And Nellie is somebody on our team that's not here right now. She came up with a great idea of, maybe I shouldn't give this idea out, but, because if somebody takes it now, then we take too long to act on it. But anyways, she said to bring like people who are very charismatic or good at being able to talk to people or connecting people. And she said that actors and creatives are underpaid, but they're really good at communicating and they're really good at, kind of lubricating a room to make it comfortable, right? And so she was saying that we should hire like comedians and actors as conversationalists to go and connect people based on the conversations they're having comparatively to like a product or maybe just like a matchmaking spreadsheet. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I'm just adding on to that. And I mean,
So fair.
yeah, just like even just hearing there, I'm like, welcome to New York. We're all looking for real people. We really are, and it's nice to even be able to hear you voice that so honestly. Because what I notice is the dishonesty that we all end up playing, and I do come from the acting world. I'm part of SAG, I'm part of equity, and we've had these jobs before in medicine and in a lot of other fields. So when I hear you, I get excited as long as we know that like the intention for an actor is really about bringing honesty into a space versus like bringing noise. Because once you get an actor who's bringing noise, then it's just gonna get louder than the happy hour that we're all avoiding, So I appreciate you saying that, and I think that is an opportunity that like everyone in this room can capitalize on, is meeting people outside of their own field, because New York is a melting pot in a way where we are all connected in different aspects. So I do want to meet both of you over there, and I want to say hello, even if I don't end up using your app, even though it does look good. So, thank you.
And see, that's community building right there. You see how he's now about to connect with them, whereas beforehand he didn't. But by having this conversation and opening it up and allowing people to be able to interact with one another. Look, Kareem and Brendan just dapped each other out of the back. They barely knew each other 2 minutes ago, right? So it's our jobs, not just me as one of the event hosts, but also the people here who attend the event to be able to do that for other people. It's so cool because I'm being more conscious of this now as we brought more people onto the team, and I have to train people and teach them how I do it. Charles always gets sick of me because he's known me for years. We've done this at events, and he's like, "You need to systematize this. You need to teach people." And I'm like, "I don't even know. I just do it. Just in the room. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's not supposed to be forced. I'm here to just have a conversation, and that's the beauty of you guys now. Who knows what you guys will do? But I think that's a great time to wrap it up.
I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
being in the tech space and being just in all different spaces, as a community builder, how do you deal with breaking down silos within the space? Being a Latina in tech, there's Black in tech, there's out in tech. How do you deal with these silos and bring people together and take them out of their silos, right? How have you done that with these events that you've done this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I really like about our events, that people say that we're very diverse in terms of the people that come on to the events. If you want me to be really honest, I think I'm very lucky because I'm ethnically ambiguous, so that plays a part into it. People thinking like, you know, I'll be in a room like, and it makes people feel comfortable, I don't know. But and I think that's one thing that plays a part, and obviously the real answer is that on our team, right, we have a lot of diversity. Look at the table right there, that's there right now. It's not just them, there's so many more people, and it goes back to capability. I will not be able to relate to certain experiences that you ever have, but somebody on my team will. And as long as they're able to relate with you on that level, that's what's important to our community, and will allow you to feel as if you have a place here. Because I'm not going to pretend like I can relate to what you go through, and I'm not going to pretend like I can relate to what you go through or with somebody else, but there might be a couple people that I can. And I think it goes back to being vulnerable, being comfortable, because there's a difference between being a leader and a boss, right? Are you going to lead your community, or are you going to boss around your community? And a lot of people are bossing around the community. And yeah, I'm honored to be here today just to be able to speak to everybody. And hopefully, Julie, this was a good exercise for you guys. I appreciate everybody for your time. If you guys have any questions, please find me afterwards. Thank you.